The story starts by showing the entrance of a town with a sign welcoming people. The sign was placed there by the strong ones. The town is called Makochi, and this part is Tonpu Market Street. A man walks into the town. He is someone who desires to meet strong people and ignores the weak. Nearby, there is some trouble. A group of men is harassing a woman. One of them tells her to come with him, but she refuses, which surprises him. She says she would rather smash eggs on their faces but thinks it would be a waste, so she chooses not to. The men laugh at her answer and say they like strong women. They warn her not to resist too much, or she might regret it. When one of them grabs her arm, she says it hurts. At that moment, the main character appears. He grabs the man by the shoulder and gets ready to punch. He feels disgusted by people who think they're strong but are actually weak. He beats the men and asks where their courage went. Then, he grabs one by the clothes and tells him to remember his face. In his thoughts, he says he wants to be feared by weak people and respected by the strong. He says his name is Sakura Haruka from Furin High. He is about to leave when the woman speaks to him. He doesn't realize she's talking to him, so he looks around. But there's no one else. Surprised, he asks if she means him. She says yes and thanks him for helping her. He says he didn't help her on purpose. He just can't stand people like those men. The woman looks surprised by his words, and then asks if he's hungry. She gives him omuris. Now they are in a cafe, and she starts talking to him. Sakura says he knows he looks strange, but that's not what she meant. She says the town is full of gang fights and isn't very safe. That's why not many people visit. She says she is not from the town either. She introduces herself as Tachibana Kotoha and says she's happy to meet him. Sakura is surprised by how kind she is, especially since she isn't scared after he fought 5 men. She asks him why he's not eating and if he doesn't like the food. He tries it and enjoys it. When he asks if they do take away, she says no. Then Kotoha points out his strange look, especially his hair that's colored in 2 shades. She asks if he wears contact lenses or if he dyed his hair. Sakura doesn't like the question and asks if she has a problem with it. Kotoha moves closer to look at his eyes and says they look like marbles. Sakura is surprised. He asks if she's trying to fight him, but she says no. He tells her she's the weird one for not being shocked or laughing at him. She replies that she's seen even stranger things. Kotoha starts to think about what he said and wonders if her guess is right. Sakura says in fights, how someone looks doesn't matter. That's why he chose Furin High. The school doesn't have high grades but is full of strong fighters. There are dropouts, and fights happen daily, even on holidays. He believes he can become the strongest one there. Kotoha says he seems to have the right personality for that kind of school. Sakura agrees and says he only shines in battle. He wants to be the strongest among the worst, and thinks the school is a great place for him. Kotoha says he must be excited about school if he's already wearing the uniform, even though classes start the next day. He says he just moved and doesn't have other clothes. Kotoha laughs and says he sounds eager. Sakura disagrees. Then, an old man stands up and thanks Kotoha for the food. She tells him to take care. Suddenly, Sakura comes over and says the old man left his book. This surprises both of them. The old man says he often forgets things. Sakura goes back to his seat and starts eating again. Kotoha gives him some candy, saying it's a gift from the old man to thank him. Sakura says he was just helping. Sakura blushes when she teases him. Sakura quickly silences her. He finds the people around him very strange, wondering why they treat him kindly despite how he looks. He also wonders why they thank him, especially when they see his uniform from a school known for troublemakers. Usually people are cautious and suspicious of him. Once, when he found a wallet, he was even accused of stealing it. He tells them they shouldn't trust people so easily. Kotoha then asks if he wants to be trusted or not. She laughs and says that choosing Furin High School is fine, but claims he will never reach the top at Furin. She's sure of it. These words sting Sakura's pride. He thinks she believes he can't even get close to the top, let alone reach it. At this rate, he fears no one will care about him. Sakura then stands up, declaring that she doesn't know how strong he is. Kotoha admits he looks strong, but says that's not enough to reach the top at Furin, especially alone. Her words irritate him, and he responds angrily. He insists he's not weak and doesn't need others to win. She explains she's not talking about physical strength and says he'll only understand her if he gets to know the people from Furin. Sakura dismisses her comments as nonsense. Outside, there's a commotion because some men are causing trouble. The residents are calling out due to the disturbance. The troublemakers didn't expect Sakura, the boy from Furin, to show up alone. They are the same people Sakura punched earlier, now back with more support. Sakura tries to leave, but a man stops him, asking if he's already forgotten them. They remind him that he told them to remember his name and face, saying it's impossible to forget someone with his unique looks. They mock his appearance, questioning if he's wearing a costume and doubting if his hair and eyes are real. Others jokingly compare him to a cat, causing him to laugh. This reaction is exactly what he's grown to expect. People usually avoid, distance, and reject him. He has accepted this reality. Still, he believes in his own importance. By defeating the person confronting him, he'll prove he's valuable and better. He thinks if he can reach the top, his worth will be clear. However, he still struggles with the idea presented to him earlier, that he can't reach the top because he's alone. The man Sakura previously beat up claims Sakura picked the wrong fight, saying he's lucky he has a team backing him. He declares it's now a war between them and Furin. Without any hesitation, Sakura punches him in the face, thinking he's always been left to fight on his own. His attackers are surprised. Sakura knows he looks odd but wonders what that has to do with anything. That's just who he is, and he can't change it. He quickly moves to attack the others who fight back. Sakura avoids a punch from one attacker, thinking there can only be one person at the top. As long as he's the strongest, he'll reach the top. He wonders what being alone has to do with it. Kotoha hears the disturbance outside and goes to check. Sakura is shocked when one attacker grabs Kotoha as a hostage, knowing the Furin people won't act if there's a hostage involved. However, Sakura suddenly kicks the attacker, freeing Kotoha, who thanks him. Sakura quickly warns her not to misunderstand. He simply dislikes the guy, which is why he acted. Sakura questions if they have any honor, bringing knives to a fight. Another attacker tries to surprise Sakura, but he notices and kicks him away in time. He expects such behavior from trash like them. Soon, they're cornered, causing Sakura worry. He realizes fighting will be difficult if he has to protect Kotoha. He questions why he's even worrying about her. Every time he helps others, things seem to end badly for him. As he confronts one enemy, another attacker lying on the ground grabs a knife and stabs toward his leg. Just then, someone else approaches with a baseball bat, ready to hit him. This forces Sakura back against the wall, shielding Kotoha. It's precisely this reason he hates getting involved with others. Kotoha becomes nervous since there's no escape route. Unsure of what to do next, Sakura accepts he's about to get hit by the baseball bat and closes his eyes. Suddenly, someone arrives, happy to see a first-year student there, which surprises Sakura. He notices a man in a Furin uniform who stops the baseball bat from hitting him. This man recognizes Kotoha and tells her not to talk about what happens to Sakura. He elbows the attacker and starts speaking firmly to the troublemakers, who quickly become nervous upon seeing him. He asks if they understand what they're doing there. Sakura is stunned by this. The man then breaks the baseball bat in half, warning the attackers about the consequences of their actions. He is furious and ready to fight, as are his companions, who also seem to be from Furin High. They confidently remark that 2 of them would have been enough. Sakura wonders why Furin students would save him. The attackers recognize the man as Hiragi from Furin. One attacker says they shouldn't be scared since there are only 4 Furin students, so they decide to attack. Hiragi orders Matsumoto, Kaji, and Yanagita to keep the attackers away, threatening to punish them if they fail. Another attacker moves towards Sakura, but Sakura can't move because of a stab wound in his leg. Hiragi steps in to help and tells Sakura to stay back if he's hurt. Sakura protests that the attacker is his, but Hiragi angrily instructs him to sit down, explaining it'll be harder to protect him if he's injured and still fighting. Sakura is surprised by these words. The crowd around them starts cheering, and locals express that they've been waiting for the Furin students to arrive. This makes Sakura confused about what's happening. Kotoha explains she mentioned earlier that the area wasn't safe because of frequent gang fights, but things improved 2 years ago thanks to the Furin students. They're the ones who put up the warning sign at the town's entrance. Hiragi, angry, tells the attackers that if they don't know how to use a bat properly, they should at least learn to read. The sign nearby is a warning for anyone trying to hurt others. It was first meant only for Furin High, but the local people began to respect and support them. The students of Furin became protectors of the town, stopping those who caused trouble. Anyone doing wrong is punished by them. They are like the town's wind, chime, and shield, the windbreaker. They soon beat the attackers, making the watching crowd cheer happily. Sakura is surprised. In the past 2 years, Furin students, once hated, have changed their image. Even though they still fight, people now love and need them. This upsets Sakura. It feels like they have become heroes. He notices how differently people treat them, unlike how others always looked at him with doubt. Even though they have a bad reputation, people are not scared. They welcome them. Some people come to Sakura, praising his strength and thanking him for protecting them. An old woman tries to help his injury, but he stops her, confused by the attention. Everyone is surprised, especially the woman. Then Kotoha comes over and holds his leg, reminding him that he once said he was alone. She knows he didn't choose to be alone, but says the people here truly need him. Sakura gets annoyed and says he doesn't need anyone and doesn't want to bother others. Kotoha then asks why he helped old man Yamaji and saved her. She cleans his wound and puts on a bandage. She says it's okay if he can't accept others now, but since he is looking at her, she hopes he will try to see the others too. She believes he can become someone people need. Sakura is shocked by how everyone sees him. Suddenly he runs forward and jumps very high, surprising Hiragi and the others. He starts to believe he can also become strong. Then, he kicks the man who started the fight, sending him flying, and surprises everyone. Kotoha smiles. This is the story of someone who starts at the bottom and becomes a hero. The next day, Sakura arrives at the cafe where Kotoha works, and she notices an odd look on his face, asking if he's hurt. It turns out he's carrying an elderly woman on his back, which annoys him greatly. This woman is an old lady named Sato, who greets Kotoha warmly. Sakura asks her to get down, but she complains it's difficult because of her age. He jokingly threatens to drop her instead. Suddenly, the old lady just jumps down easily and calls him a rude boy. He's completely surprised, having assumed she needed help due to sore hips. When she realizes this, she pretends to be in pain, even though she's walking perfectly fine. Sakura tells her not to say that, after seeing her jump down like a superhero. Even though he talks that way, he's still someone from Furin. The elderly woman thanks him, causing Sakura to blush, and he quickly tries to leave. Kotoha stops him, offering him an egg sandwich. He mentions there's an entrance ceremony at school today, but Kotoha checks the clock and notes it's still too early since the ceremony isn't until noon. As Sakura happily eats the sandwich, Kotoha teases him, suggesting he looks excited. He denies it, claiming he's just wandering around, but she insists there's nothing wrong with feeling excited, especially because Furin High has many interesting people. Her comment irritates him, and he tells her not to make things up. Suddenly someone arrives shouting Kotoha's name. His excitement makes him trip as he enters the cafe. Sato recognizes and greets him warmly. He proudly shows off his foreign uniform. He is introduced as Nire Akihiko, another first-year student at Furin High. Sakura notices there's still a price tag on Nire's uniform. Startled, Nire tries reaching for the tag, but struggles and falls again. Laughing, he admits he also forgot to remove the tag from his pants. Sakura is surprised to find they're in the same year at Furin. Nire's expression suddenly changes when he realizes Sakura's an outsider. Sakura asks if that's a problem. Nire approaches him, curious about Sakura's unusual appearance, noticing the half-and-half color of his hair and eyes, and wonders aloud if stress caused it. Sakura didn't expect such a remark, while Kotoha just laughs. She introduces them, mentioning Sakura arrived only yesterday. Nire takes out a notebook, mentioning he's heard nothing about Sakura yet. He questions why someone unknown like him would suddenly come to such a place. Nire shares some trivia, explaining Furin isn't just any ordinary school. He says the Furin students protect the townspeople, calling them allies of justice for defending the weak and opposing the strong. Nire adds everyone at Furin admires the seniors who protect the town, thinking they're incredibly cool, himself included. Yet, It puzzles him that an unknown person with no apparent connections would suddenly show up at Furin. Sakura continues eating, and casually states his goal is to become the top student at Furin. Nire is shocked by Sakura's ambition. Sakura thinks the idea of allies of justice sounds cool, and because there are many strong people at Furin, he figures reaching the top would feel fulfilling. Their conversation falls silent after his statement. Nire replies it's easy to say but difficult to achieve. If Sakura is serious, Nire jokes he might go bald from the stress. Kotoha can't help but laugh. Sakura issues a challenge, but Nire notices it's getting late and says he must leave. Kotoha is surprised he isn't staying for breakfast, but he replies he only stopped by to show off his uniform. He plans to patrol the area before the entrance ceremony. As he leaves, Nire proudly declares he's now also an ally of justice. Not watching his step, he accidentally bumps into the wall, which makes him laugh again before exiting. Kotoha comments that Nire truly is an interesting person. Sakura agrees, noting he's never met anyone so clumsy. He's also surprised to find out Nire attends Furin as well. Sakura reflects that he himself needs to become cooler if he wants to be truly seen as an ally of justice. Kotoha responds, surprised Sakura is criticizing Nire's appearance, and offers him coffee. Sakura says it's not about looks. He believes people who act tough based only on appearance but run away during a real fight are lame. Kotoha asks if he's focusing too much on that image. Sakura replies he's seen it happen several times before. As Kotoha makes coffee, she asks if he knows the actual color of coffee beans. Her question makes him think. She explains they are red, glossy, and bright like cherries. She admits she initially believed coffee beans were harvested looking like the brown ones sold in stores. She also didn't know they were seeds that appear white before roasting. Kotoha says if you look at something from only one angle, you won't know the full truth behind it. She believes everyone is free to assume whatever they want, but suggests he might be too quick to judge. People should talk, observe carefully, and try to understand others. Otherwise, they might never know what someone is truly like. Sakura remembers what others previously said about his habit of judging too quickly. Suddenly, he asks if Nire is strong. Kotoha questions if that's all he has noticed. Kotoha questions. Later, observing the busy town, Sakura goes for a walk, reflecting on Kotoha's advice about not judging people too quickly. He's surprised when a baker suddenly offers him bread. Confused, he asks why he's receiving this. And the baker explains it's because the Furin students often help them, so it's important to give something back sometimes. One person recognizes Sakura as the guy who fought yesterday and is happy to see him, believing he's there to help. Surprised, Sakura quickly leaves the bakery, saying he isn't hungry, but the bakery staff insist and pack food for him to take later. Sakura blushes, unused to such kindness. Fruit vendors also notice him and offer an apple, just like the vegetable vendor does, telling him that what he did yesterday was cool. Even the alcohol vendor recognizes him and challenges him to a drinking contest because of his strength. As Sakura walks, he collects many gifts from different shop owners. He wonders what's happening and why people are suddenly being so nice to someone like him. This makes him think again about Kotoha's advice not to decide things on his own. Sakura considers that perhaps he's been wrong to assume people wouldn't notice or appreciate him. Suddenly, he drops all his gifts when a woman rushes up to him, urgently asking if he's from Furin because she needs help. Meanwhile, in an alley, Nire is knocked down, unsure how to respond to the man confronting him. The man is annoyed because Nire interrupted while he was speaking with a woman. He asks Nire angrily why he interfered. Nire replies it's obvious the woman wasn't interested. The man asks how Nire could possibly know that. He mocks Nire, saying the members of Bofurin think they're protectors when, in reality, they're the ones needing protection. As the man tries to leave, Nire grabs his clothing, irritating him further. The man rudely calls Nire worthless and tells him to go home and cry to his mother. However, Nire refuses to let go. The man becomes furious. Nire then repeats the words from the town sign, saying that anyone who hurts or shows cruelty to others will be punished by the people of Bofurin. The attackers laugh at this, mocking Nire's attempt to warn them. Still, Nire doesn't release his grip. Overcome with anger, the man starts hitting Nire in the head, claiming he doesn't care if Nire is from Bofurin or not. He says Nire will be the one punished now. Nire prepares himself for the assault, but suddenly Sakura appears and kicks the attacker in the face. Nire, along with the man's friends, is shocked. Sakura knocks the attacker down with just one kick. Nire asks Sakura why he's helping him. The men confront Sakura, asking if he's also from Furin and came to rescue his friend. Sakura tells them not to misunderstand. He just can't stand seeing weak people who pretend to be strong going unchallenged. He finds them disgusting. Because of this, the men attack Sakura and ask him what his issue is. Nire yells that Sakura can't win on his own, but Sakura remains determined. Nire is surprised to see Sakura successfully defeat all of them. Nire comments on Sakura's strength, amazed that Sakura wins even though he's alone. Sakura briefly looks at Nire and starts to leave. Nire thanks him for saving him, adding that Sakura might feel disappointed knowing someone like Nire is part of Bofurin. Sakura tells Nire not to think too much about it. He says he didn't save him for any special reason, noting that appearances can be misleading. He admits he doesn't understand why Nire wants to attend Furin but suggests Nire should know his limits. Nire explains that as a child, he was bullied every day and felt helpless, believing everything the bullies said. But one day, a student from Furin saved him, making Nire suddenly see those he feared as cool. That event inspired him to become like them, to study at Furin and be cool too. However, Nire breaks down crying, admitting he still feels just as weak as back then. Sakura thinks about this, believing the truly weak ones are people who pretend to be brave but run from fights. Remembering how Nire stood up earlier, Sakura reconsiders his judgment. He simply tells Nire not to cry because it makes him look weaker, but reassures him that, in his opinion, Nire isn't pathetic at all. Nire is surprised by Sakura's words. Just then, the woman Nire helped earlier approaches them. She asks Nire if he's okay, and he replies he's perfectly fine. She confesses she was scared when the man grabbed her earlier, but says Nire saved her. Grateful, she bows and thanks Nire, unable to hold back tears. When she notices Sakura, she thanks him too. Nire calls Sakura over, seeming slightly annoyed. Suddenly, Nire pulls a notebook from his pocket and starts asking Sakura questions about his height, weight, blood type, birthday, hobbies, and talents. The rapid questions catch Sakura completely off guard. Nire even tries estimating and measuring Sakura's height, making Sakura uncomfortable enough to ask Nire to stop. Nire apologizes, explaining that he can't help collecting information about people he finds cool. Sakura blushes again and says, Nire can do as he likes. As they prepare to part ways, Nire says he'll just observe Sakura closely instead. Nire also offers to guide him around. Sakura gets offended, asking if Nire thinks he doesn't know his way. Nire clarifies that while he might not be useful in fights, he's perfectly able to show Sakura around town and introduce him to people all the way to the top. Sakura doesn't expect this. Nire suddenly pulls Sakura along and points towards their school, annoying Sakura with the sudden tug. Then, Furin High comes into view, marking the beginning of a new school year and a fresh start.